Hey guys, welcome back to More English with Dry. Today I'm going to give you a quick insight into how to use personification effectively in writing to describe of Section B of Paper 1. This is the English Language AQA syllabus, and it is specifically looking at how this technique can help to make your writing more sophisticated. The first thing I'm going to do is show you an extract from a piece of famous fiction with some wonderful personification in it, just to highlight exactly how it can be used. Now this is from Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe, in which he writes, "I stood still a few moments to recover breath, until the waters went from me, and then took to my heels and ran with what strength I had further towards the shore. But neither would this deliver me from the fury of the sea, which came pouring in after me again, and twice more I was lifted up by the waves and carried forward, as before, the shore being very flat." Now, in this classic example of fiction, we can see that the writer gives the sea characteristics of anger and rage. In doing so, he helps the reader imagine it as an enemy of the narrator and someone who wants to do them harm. This helps the reader sympathise with the narrator, as well as imagine the sea as being a cruel and wicked being rather than something with no will of its own. So why use personification? Well, the first thing to note is that the image you get in Section B of Language Paper 1 may have no people or even living things in it. As such, it means you're going to have to interest the reader yourself through your descriptions of nature or the physical world. It's much easier to create an emotional response from the reader if you bring inanimate objects to life, as it helps us to empathise with them, rather than finding them boring or uninteresting. By comparing things to humans, we can more easily relate to them and form a more meaningful connection with them. Personification is the tool that helps writers to achieve this. So how to use it? Very simply, you must imagine and develop human qualities in non-living things. This could be physical characteristics like movements or actions, for example, the old couch sighed as he sat down heavily. Or it could be more abstract and involve creating emotions and feelings in them, for example, the lonely tree stood silent and abandoned before the empty horizon. Now, animals occupy an interesting aspect within personification. It can also be used to give human qualities to them, however this is more often referred to as anthropomorphism. Giving animals emotions that appear human is one of the more effective ways of bringing them to life for a reader. Describing animals' feelings of anger, fear, love, etc. make them seem as though they are the same as we are and makes a reader care about them more. Even though animals move in similar ways to humans a lot of the time, they do not always. Therefore, describing them as performing actions that are generally reserved for people can be effective. For example, the zebras dance together in the dusty savannah. If anyone needs any further proof or examples of how personification with animals can be used, you need look no further than the beloved novel War Horse by Michael Morpurgo. Abstract nouns occupy an intriguing part of personification because it can include giving human qualities to things we cannot see or touch. This means imagining that emotions or feelings themselves have human attributes. For example, fear crept up and enclosed her in its cold embrace. This is a particularly sophisticated method for interesting the reader. It helps us to see and feel vividly the effect of the things we cannot usually sense. So, this is how you would build your personification. Select the object or concept you want to bring to life. Secondly, decide what emotion it's experiencing at the moment the picture has been taken. 3. Link to the other aspects in the picture that is making it feel or behave in this way. 4. Choose your powerful adjectives or adverbs to enhance the description. And then 5. Start writing. It really is as simple as that. So, my example with this image of a lighthouse. She waited solemnly on the shoreline, a lone sentry above the rocks and the foam. As the sun dipped below the horizon, she prepared to perform her night's duties, the last line of defence for so many vulnerable ships. Her beacon winked at the sun-kissed waves. The darkening night sky and the distant rumble of thunder were a warning of a rough night ahead, but she was confident and ready. As we can see in this example, I've personified the lighthouse as a female character, but also one that we begin to understand her feelings and emotions in this specific moment. So here are just some stock, easy-to-use examples that could be extrapolated in nearly any one of them. Firstly, the parched earth greedily swallowed the rain that fell from the sky. The shadows danced on the pavement. The engine coughed and spluttered to life. The river meandered lazily through the valley. My heart leapt with joy. The vengeful sun beat mercilessly on the back of her unguarded neck. The icy wind bit into their exposed flesh. Terror's cold fingers closed around his neck. Love is blind. The storm raged around us. I hope you found this video helpful. Please feel free to use any of these that I've written myself, or look into more specific famous examples of personification from literature yourselves. If you need any more guidance on Language Paper 1, Section B, Writing to Describe, please check out my other video on the topic that is on the screen now, and good luck with revising for your exams. Goodbye.